Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
We're now watching the Half Your Deen Show.
Half Your Deen Show.
With Samira Abdullah.
And Imam Naeem Abdullah.
Half Your Deen Show.
Assalamualaikum. We are
now watching the Half Your Deen Show on Northern Radio.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم تسليما الحمد لله وكفى والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, I seek refuge in Allah from the rejected shaitan. May Allah bless our master, Sayyidina Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his family, his companions, and give them peace. All praise is due to Allah, for he is sufficient for us. Peace be upon his slaves, whom he has chosen. As to what follows, Assalamu alaikum. You're now watching another installment of the Half Your Dean Show with myself, Samir Abdullah, and my co-host. He'll be joining us shortly. But I want to welcome each and every one of you. Let's see who's in the house. I see my sister Tahira, sister Nafisa, sister Jackie, and sister Joanne, and sister Fatima. It's the ladies in the house. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's ladies' night. The halal ladies' night. Mashallah, $5 to get in, more at the door type thing. Nah, this is a halal gathering. Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless it, and may Allah have mercy on us and those that are intending to join. And if you're not able to join us live, I welcome you as well while you watch the replay. My job said he's here to. Oh, okay. So it's not ladies' night. It's not ladies' night. Wa alaikum salam to every Katu, brother. You're welcome as well. Mashallah, mashallah. I am so excited to be here. Oh, here's another brother. The brothers are showing up now. Wa alaikum salam to every Katu, brother Farouk. Brother's like, wait a minute. Hold up. Talk about some ladies' night. Wa alaikum salam to Sister Imari. Good to see you. Alhamdulillah. I'm so excited to be here today. Alhamdulillah. We had to take a break last week because we were making preparations for our trip to Florida. Alhamdulillah. That was our first time down there in the Sunshine State, and alhamdulillah, it was so beautiful. I wasn't coming back, y'all. I was like, we're gonna stay here for the winter. It was beautiful. It wasn't too hot. It was just like just right. It was like 70s, and it went up to the 80s. I was actually sweating a little bit. I was like, wow, I can get used to this right here. And it was so funny because I seen a commercial about winter clothes, coats or something. And I'm like, I don't remember Florida getting snow down here and getting cold down here. So that was weird because I'm like, what kind of winters they have down here with this beautiful weather? Sapala, wa alaikum salam to every Katu. Jid, let me see. Oh, I can read your comments without my glasses. If I'm squinting a little, my eyes is acting funny. My dow's name is Mujahid Abdul Haq. Brother Farouk, are you? Wa alaikum salam to every Katu, Brother Mujahid. Thank you for joining us. My other sister, alhamdulillah, Sister Rakaya. I got to see her. Alhamdulillah. Now, Miss Joanne, I missed you. Like, your presence, your absence was felt. Let's say that. It was felt. And, it's by Allah's, decree, you got to do what you got to do. You got to take care of yourself. You got to do what's best for you. But you were here in my heart. And all the believers there that know you were there, mashallah. Wa alaikum salam to Katu, Sister Miriam, and my brother Nadam. Wa alaikum salam to Katu. I'm so excited to be here. 60 degrees is what? That's mashallah. Sapalo, she says 60 is freezing. I'll trade you this 40, 30, 20. He talking about freezing. I'll trade that freezing for this freezing. Today wasn't so bad. But mashallah, it was beautiful. Will you be in AC in January? Inshallah, make dua for us, sister. Make a dua. Make strong dua that he makes a way. My intentions is to come. I don't want to miss that. I missed a few podcasts, but I'm glad to tune back in. We didn't have one last week again because we had we went on a trip. Alhamdulillah, the trip was beautiful. Alhamdulillah, it's always good to be with the believers, to be at the masjid, at the believers. When we first got there, outside of the masjid rather, it was if I'm not mistaken, whoever was there, it was the International Muslim League of Women. International Muslim League of Women. I believe that's what they were, had on red and white. And they were they had a community event. They were giving out items, clothes, different stuff. It was a whole lot of stuff in the parking lot. And there were ladies lined up. People, I don't know if it was just ladies, but it was people who were lined up, and they were given a voucher. And the voucher was worth $75. So they had everything priced on the tables, racks, everything. And so you go with your voucher and you get it punched. And when you reach up to 75, if you shop, the sister was like, they would be shopping till they drop. And it was so beautiful because it was a long line out there, right? And so I was like, wow, that'll be something nice that, we can do with our masjid, do some community work. Because we need to do things like that to have a presence. Wa alaikum salam talabikatu, brother Imam, aka Imam Genius, aka Habibi. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Look at his face.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam talabikatu.
You know why I'm looking at you like this?
Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you're on next week's show.
I'm on next week's show.
Yeah. This show that we're on right now is scheduled for next week. So you made me go into today's show and reschedule that for next week.
No,
being that you want to be on next week's show today.
No, I'm sorry. What was supposed to be today? I'm sorry.
We were supposed to be talking about red flags.
Oh, we can do that.
Nah, it's too late. I rescheduled. So now we're talking about street mentality invading Muslim marriages.
Listen. My eyes, look, y'all. Look, you see, I have my reading glasses. I need reading glasses, y'all.
I keep my reading glasses close by.
I can see, far, right? Alhamdulillah. But up close, but today I'm doing good because I couldn't even do that. Mashallah. Sister Miriam gave you salams, brother Imam. Sister Nafisa said, no, I'm Sister Till from Mash Mom in Philadelphia with them.
Wa alaikum salam.
I remember you. Alhamdulillah. Welcome, sister. Mashallah.
Which sister?
Sister Nafisa. She said her name is Sister Till. If this the same Till I remember, we might not be friends on Facebook because I had changed my page. I had changed my page back in August. So a lot of I sent friend requests to those that made it known that they wanted to still connect with me and stuff. So some people I miss, but alhamdulillah, we friends here. If you're the same sister,
I see what you're talking about. Yeah, that's her.
That's
We're
her.
friends on Facebook.
Okay, alhamdulillah.
That's the hard working sister.
Alhamdulillah. Mashallah.
Anybody from Philly? No Masjid Muhammad from Philadelphia?
Right.
That's his.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, then I do know her. Alhamdulillah. We're friends on this one, mashallah. What I want to talk about red flags today. Quick question. When is the next meetup in Philly?
January.
Okay. Mashallah.
We're not going to have one this month, December, inshallah, January.
Listen.
I spoke to the brother Dorahman either yesterday or the day before yesterday.
To hear us, I have to have 2 pages because I never got in jail. I'm surprised.
Because you snitching.
What?
Because you snitching. That's why you ain't.
Oh, because I'm. Oh yeah.
You probably the one putting everybody else in jail. FB police. See, I don't want no problem, but you need to go look at Sister Tahira.
Yeah, you gotta look at her page.
She's talking crazy over there.
You should see that comment she made. No, it wasn't me. Don't put me out there like that. I never reported anybody, even people I ain't agree with. I never report them. I don't be doing that. But I'm surprised I've never been in jail because I've said some stuff, that they may feel like it violated, the rules of Facebook. But So she said, yes, man, that's you know, but yeah, I don't do that, but mashallah. But you should be, it's funny because this world is like upside down, inside out. There's no real rules, is whatever people feel like it, you know. And I mention that because, you know, just a few weeks ago, you know, the big thing about the brother, Smear, you just know how to word your stuff, which is good. Maybe that's why I don't get it. We were just talking about Yay the other week, and then Kyrie the next week. It seems like right afterwards, right? And it wasn't even nothing he said. It's just something that he posted that people disagree with and went, you know, berserk, right? He didn't even say nothing. He posted something and said, hey, look, check this out. And then he was thrown under the bus, right? So on here, I've seen some outlandish stuff that had not gotten flagged. But then when you say something that's like decent, you get flagged. Like it's just whatever. Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh, brother Abdullah. Now we can't change the topic, Habibi. I'm sorry. We can't change the topic. I'm sorry. Your mind probably was on that topic, and I just pressed the first thing that was on the list. I'm sorry. That's because
don't worry about it. We're here now. I already rescheduled today's for next week.
Okay, mashallah. Well, Sister Foster, you got to wait till next week. Oh, she put me in jail last year because she got me rolled up in my response. Who's she? Who put you in jail? Oh, tag me in a poll. SubhanAllah. But again, I want to welcome every one of you, those that are on here live, those that'll be tuning in, you know, during the replay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I was just making reference to our trip to Florida, Miami, Florida, and how the believers was putting in work, and how, you know, it's amazing that, you know, our elders are still holding down the fort, you know, in this time, in these challenging times that we're in. And more of it needs to happen. More of our youth needs to be involved because our elders are getting older. Like there's certain things they should not be doing. And so that's where the youth steps in. And they are, unfortunately, they are not interested. And there's millions of reasons why they're not interested. And that's something that what the Black Imams Roundtable is attempting to solve, to resolve, at least plant a seed, because our youth, we're losing our youth like crazy. Like I'm going to tell you a couple of things that I have witnessed. One, you probably already heard it, but it just deep. One was 10-year-old boy. Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh, Sister Miriam. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. Some weeks back, and you probably heard it already, a 10-year-old boy shot his mother in the head because she would not purchase a virtual reality headset, some kind of device. And after it wasn't clear after he shot her. They said the next day, but the information seemed conflicted because the next day it was reported that he told his grandma, I'm sorry I shot mom. Did my package come in from Amazon? So he had to have already ordered it, right? 10 years old, okay? At 10 years old, he had no attachment to his mother. He had no remorse. It was said that he stole her keys to her gun cabinet and got her gun out. So it wasn't like it was laying out, right? And this is not something that just, this is like the needle that broke the camel's back. This boy had issues, right? He was seeing a therapist because he had anger issues, he had rage, right? The therapist suggested, it was so bad, for the safety of the mom, I don't know who else was in the house. For the safety of the family, the therapist suggested that she put cameras in the home. Okay? She did that. But 2 weeks ago, the cameras were disconnected. I don't know who disconnected. I don't know if that was because she thought it was too invasive or what. But the therapist suggested that. So this boy had issues. They said that when he was 4 years old, he took a puppy or a cat, I think it was a puppy, took his tail and did this to the puppy till it cried out in pain. And they said these are signs of, someone that is not right, harming animals, right? A psychopath. So he, 10 years old, at that age, they're still a kid. They still developing in their mind. They still, have innocence. And what makes it so sad is that our society is ripping the innocence from our children. They're not innocent no more. So they're charging them as an adult. And some news reports, somebody was giving like their opinion that we need to do an assessment, like what's going on with him, to see what he needs, because jail may not be the thing that he needs. He may really have mental issues that was undiagnosed that needs to be treated, right? And so it's like subhanAllah, like they just charge him as an adult. He's not going to be treated as a kid anymore, although he'll look like a kid. Just imagine a 10-year-old in an adult facility. You've been to jail. I ain't never been to jail. Have you seen a child that young in jail amongst other adult men, like waiting for their, trial or what have you? Like, what thoughts come to your mind about a 10-year-old boy in an adult facility? Because he's being charged as an adult.
There's a lot of ways that can happen, but to answer your question, no, I ain't never been to jail with no 10-year-old. But he can be charged as an adult, but still go to a juvenile or a youth facility.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's most likely what will happen.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, if he's charged as an adult and they sentence him as an adult, my understanding, like with the juvenile system, like they age out. Like if they have a sentence, it like ends when they become a certain age, and then it don't work like that. How does that work?
If you're charged as an adult and you're a child, after your sentencing and stuff, when if you're still in prison, when you actually do become an adult, you just get moved to an adult facility from the children facility. Basically, when a child gets charged as an adult, meaning is a whole different set of laws that apply to him. If the child was being charged as a child, he'd be in family court.
Okay.
Not in the adult criminal court.
SubhanAllah. So this 10-year-old boy, this 10-year-old boy, I don't know what the mother was going through as far as trying to get him assistance. Of course, she cared enough to get him therapy. There are parents whose children who need therapy and they refuse to give them the help that they need, right? She made that step. I don't know where she was in her mind, what type of mom she was or anything like that, but it's evidently something was going on. Like he had to be disconnected. There is children that have no feelings or emotions towards anything. You ever come across children like that? They don't have any kind of humanness in them.
Put Fatima's comment up there.
Okay.
I'm really interested in knowing what type of connection the mother had with him as a 2, 3, 4-year-old. Like, did she give him corporal punishment? Did she show him love? Where was the father? So many factors can play in the development that is not talked about or revealed by the parents because they don't believe that they did anything wrong. I wanted you to mention that. I wanted to put that up there because there is something. I'm pretty sure you mothers and people that have experience, if you never dealt with it, you at least heard of it, called failure to thrive. What is that, Samira?
Failure to thrive.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, I don't know if it's an official diagnosis, but I know it's a term that's used,
I'm not.
right?
I'm not sure. I know what it. I know what the intent behind that, but I don't know like the medical definition of it. Fatima knows. Fatima, what does failure to thrive mean? She's a nurse, and anybody out there that have any medical knowledge, what is failure to thrive? I have the idea, but I don't have the the proper medical definition for that.
Do like everybody else, Google it.
No, this is an interactive. We
I know.
interactive. I'll look it up, but Fatima got the answer.
But sometimes they kind of slow on the fingers.
Well, this thing got a little delay. Failure to thrive. All right, let me see if Fatima answered it. But I'll start answering, but Fatima, you could jump in. What is failure to thrive? And this is a Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh, I believe. Oh no, Philadelphia. Failure to thrive is defined as decelerated or arrested physical growth. Height and weight measurements fall below the 3rd or 5th percentile, or a downward change in growth across 2 major growth percentiles, and is associated with abnormal growth and development. And then here it says, what qualifies failure to thrive? Infants or children who fail to thrive have a height, weight, and head circumference that do not match standard growth charts. The person's weight falls lower than the 3rd percentile as outlined in standard growth charts, or 20% below the ideal weight for their height.
I was looking for what Fatima put up there because that much I knew. I didn't want to speak in ignorance. So all of these things, according to them, could be the cause, could be caused by, not having a connection with the mom. This is an environment when most people childbearing age, most mother childbearing age, they just dump their children off on someone else and go out party and club and pretend that they rich on the ground.
Possibly, I had a failure to thrive infant, and the mother was very disconnected. She didn't want to hold or feed her baby. Her postpartum affected that. Yeah, postpartum depression is real. It's a high percentage of women going through that is ignored. And I could tell y'all some stories regarding that. I was a teen parent and did not know how to be a parent, and he was that angry child, and I got him and I helped. He was diagnosed in several OPD disorders and disconnect issues with me. How did that feel, that disconnect? Like, what was that disconnect like? Like, what was the experience? Because that's not a natural thing. Like, Allah put in the child, a natural longing for the mother, even right after birth.
The disconnect is coming from the mother, not the child.
Oh, the disconnect is coming from the child, from the mother.
Right.
There's failure no bonding to thrive is the mother's issue.
Right. It affects the child.
Oh, see? Okay, got you. So the failure to thrive infant is based on the disconnect of the mother to the child. Oh, that answers a lot. See, I thought I knew what I knew. I didn't know it was from the mother's aspect. I thought it was from the child, that the child was, you learn something every day. I was a teen parent. I was more of a sister to him than his mother. It was a conflict in my home. I had that situation in my home too. I had a cousin who had a baby out of wedlock. I didn't know because I called them all cousins. I thought it was they were all my cousins. Until I learned later that it wasn't the case. The parents was actually raising the child. Subhanallah. Wow. Subhanallah. Now I was a teen mom too. I was at home and my parents, they did most of the raising. I was still there, but my parents, they passed away when my son was very young. So I still had a connection with my child. It wasn't a disconnect because my mom was like, you go where you go, he gotta go. Like that. This was before Islam, of course, but yeah, so subhanallah. I learned something. Thank you, Fatima. See, I knew you knew. Mashallah. May Allah make it easy on us. So yes, there must have been, like, we don't have the story from the mother's aspect. So there was some kind of disconnect going on with her. And like, where's the father? Like, there's so many elements in this story so many layers rather, that has to be peeled back because it's not just one thing. Like, one thing we tend to kind of push under the rug or try to forget or try to deny. You have to have both parents to raise children. You have to. That's the natural order of things. That's how Allah created us. It wasn't meant for just one person to raise a child. It wasn't. That was our undoing in other circumstances. But a child needs a mother and a father. It's just like having a recipe for, I don't know, fried chicken, right? You can't have fried chicken if you ain't got no flour. You can fry the chicken. It's not going to be like real fried chicken. It's just going to be oil and skin and, it's not going to turn out. But if you want crispy fried chicken, you're going to need the flour. You're going to need, some eggs, the seasoning and all that stuff just to make it. It's something missing. And then our children is something missing. Habibi, I remember, and I don't know, it was a hadith, and I don't know if it's Sahih or what, about bastard children, about the anger in them. You know what I'm referring to about that? About children that's born out of wedlock.
That's mentioned in one of the longer hadith of Alamat al-Akhir Zaman, the signs of the last days. And there'll be a plethora or an increase in angry children, rageful children. And a lot of times you can connect that to a statement of Ali, Karamallahu wajhu, may Allah ennoble his face. Because actually, during his time, a man came to him and said, my child he abuses me. This is a grown man, an older man, saying that his child abuses him. And Ali's first response was, how did you treat him when he was young? And he said, I neglected him. And he said, well, you neglected him. Now he's neglecting you.
SubhanAllah.
You reap what you sow. What goes around comes around. What you plant is what you shall, what you sow was what you shall reap, basically.
I appreciate you sharing your story, Sister Tahira. I really do. Because this
puts Waalaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Stanley and Anthony.
Waalaikum salam wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. It puts a human side to it. Like it makes it real. This is real.
But I also want to add something to what you said.
What?
Because you said you need both parents, and that's generally true. But at the same time, you have to remember that not everybody had all of their children, both parents there, like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like Musa alayhi salam. I know it's a special situation, but like Isa alayhi salam, right? And many other non-prophets. And one of the things that I think is an important point, that when you look at great achievers, including the prophets and messengers,
Mm-hmm.
not excluding, including the prophets and messengers.
Mm-hmm.
Think about anybody in this dunya or in the deen, you know, that achieve great things that most people don't achieve. I think it's safe to say all of them suffered some great trauma early on, right? And a lot of times, if you ask them, what motivates you? What keeps you going? Many times, those people will point back to that traumatic thing and say, listen, I got to get over this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to let this thing define me. I'm going to use this thing to motivate me, not put me on my back. Nah, it's, you know, and so that's extremely important as well. I just wanted to mention it.
I mentioned that because I know that's not always the case. Sometimes it's not good to have both people there. You got some trifling fathers and trifling mothers. Both of them be both BOFF, right?
Or as we say in social media, both of them.
Yeah, both of them, right? Shouldn't even have children. Just another story. And I'll get back to this. The reason why I'm mentioning this is that our children, how do we reach them? Like we always say, how do you reach the youth? How do we get to, to establish rapport so we can, bring them back? What you bringing them back to? Right? Think about what we're saying. We hear this rhetoric. What are you bringing them back to?
One who doesn't have a thing can't give it. A lot of times, strength or something like that only respect strength. If you coming from a place of weakness, why should they listen to you?
SubhanAllah.
Like a lot of times, like a lot of our young people are caught up in gangs and stuff, right? Gangs have an organizational structure. They have a leader. There's consequences if you don't act right. And you coming from a place of weakness. You just coming from a place of moral authority. But there's no consequences for disobeying or disrespecting you. That structure that you're asking them to leave, you don't even have. In fact, you calling for anarchy. This young dude comes from a structure that has an OG. If they get disrespected, right? There's people that's going to ride and lay some people down. Here it is, you Muslim, you got the moral authority. You're correct though, but in Islam, the scripture says you're supposed to stand up for certain things. You don't stand up for it. The scripture says you're supposed to have leadership and a hierarchy. You don't have that. You say nobody can do except me. I do what I want to do, just me myself. And you calling that young person who comes from a place where he got people riding with him, and you Muslim, right? You supposed to be stronger than all of that. And if somebody do something to you, ain't nobody gonna come help you, and you Muslim, right? So, you know, the Islam that we tricked ourselves into practicing, which ain't really Islam, right? It don't even command the respect of young people. Whereas when I was young people, I took Shahada when I was 19. When I took Shahada as a teenager, I looked at Muslims from a place of respect. Like I wasn't doing them a favor by becoming Muslim. I wanted to get down. But can the young people that's, in their teens and 19, 20, can they say that about us?
SubhanAllah. Like, SubhanAllah. I talk about that Tenio because there's so many stories after stories like the story. Like I was telling you today about in Atlanta, for my Atlanta folk, a boy named, I think his name was Cameron, was shot and killed by a group of thugs. I'm going to call them thugs. And in the process of him getting killed, another little boy named Zayed or something, he was 12. The boy that got killed, Cameron, was 12. Cameron was 15 and died. The one that was meant to be shot. And then the boy that was 12, he was like a innocent bystander. Basically, he got shot. He wasn't one that they was actually the bullets was intended for. But those were two stories two stories that it's a sad situation. One, the boy Cameron was an aspiring boxer, right? He was being trained by a brother from Philly. His name was Nasir, I think, or Nazir, who was in the Olympics, I believe, in '96. I was watching a interview, and he said, he had everything going for him. Like, he was respectful. He loved animals. Like, they were describing him. They was putting a human face on this boy, because all you hear is statistics, right? Numbers, statistics, right? They was putting a face on it. And the mom was like, that was my baby. The other mom, her 12-year-old was in the street. He was in the street. But the thing was, his mom was trying to get him help. Some of us have kids that's like on the borderline of getting in them streets, getting in trouble. And there is no support for that. It's like they got to go into the system before the courts and this organization, that organization intervene. Where are those organizations and programs for those kids that have potential of going into that prison pipeline? Right?
For the most part, they don't exist because the system is not designed for them to. It's not designed to prevent them from going that way. And from my own children, we seen where I seen one of my children was going the wrong way. Now I'm looking for some program that's suitable for him, and all of them were saying no. We can only help him after adjudication, after he's been convicted or something, after he sees a judge.
Right?
I'm like, I'm trying to prevent that. What do you mean after? Right? And so
subhanallah.
So I think we keep forgetting that, the system, as some people call it, the matrix, is designed to do what it's doing. It's not broken, it's working. We just keep forgetting that it wasn't designed to work on our behalf. We keep forgetting that. No, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, and it's producing exactly what it's supposed to produce. It's a machine, it's well oiled, and it's well maintained.
SubhanAllah. That's true.
Let me ask you a question as a way to move into our topic.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you took Shahada?
I was 22.
What was you waiting for?
What you mean what I was waiting for?
I took Shahada when I was 19. Why you couldn't take Shahada when you were 19?
Because
I'm just messing with you.
No.
You really gonna answer that question?
No.
Allah guided you when he guided you.
No, Allah guided me. Listen, before taking the Shahada was either Nation of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
That was like my choice. Allah didn't make that for me.
See, you were better off than me when I took Shahada. I didn't know the difference. I didn't think about the difference. But anyway, my question that I want to ask of you is, how did you perceive Muslim women before you took Shahada?
My perception of Muslim women were they were of higher caliber. Like they were like special. They was like royalty, like something to aspire to. Like you not gonna see a sister acting or ain't no kind of way, right? Like you didn't see that. You had the utmost respect for her. Like it was something to aspire to. That's how I perceive Muslim women.
See, I didn't even know you were going to say that, but I had the same, perception of Muslim men and women before I took Shahada.
Mm-hmm.
Like my perception of a Muslim man was a well-balanced man, not really extreme in any way, right? Mm-hmm. Intelligent, but not what we may call a nerd or a geek. Not in the streets or doing anything negative, but can handle himself in the streets. Mm-hmm. A family man, a man that's hardworking, protects his family, et cetera, et cetera. That was my perception of Muslims before I became Muslim. And this is based upon casual observation of Muslims that I came in, that I crossed paths with before I took Shahada. That's interesting that you said that. Because even though, from my observation and basically from what you just said, even though a person, we may know their history and be like, okay, yeah, this person came from the streets. Now they straightened his life up. He's Muslim now. They didn't drag the street mentality into the deen with them. Oh, and they definitely didn't drag it into the marriage with them. Because this is what we're talking about today. The quote unquote street mentality invading Muslim marriages. How would you define street mentality?
Street mentality?
Yeah, because it says street in quotes. And I know I'm the one who made the title. But
Yeah, I don't know what you
It's important that we define
things. Okay. The street, like the street itself, has a code, has a way that you maneuver out there, how you deal with other people, right? And so in the street, it's really no code. It's really no rules. It's always somebody oppressing somebody else, right? There's always somebody trying to the word slips my mind. They're always trying to be on top, right? And they do anything to be on top, right? And it's like very selfish. You can't in the streets, you can't be generous. You gotta be selfish. There's no generosity, there's no consideration.
I think you kind of like summed up what I was sort of kind of getting at in the beginning of the way you responded. You said the streets have a code, regardless if people live up to it in reality or not. They pretend to live up to it, right? For example, one of the codes of the streets is no snitching. Then everybody got their own definition of snitching. That snitching. I don't even think we need to define snitching. And people that's never been in the streets know what snitching is now, right? In New York, we used to have a little phrase: "Snitches get stitches."
Yeah.
Sometimes Muslim children get infected by the disease of street mentality. Because you have Muslim siblings doing stuff, and then the kid that tells the parent, "Yo, why you snitching?" Yo, they ain't snitching. We not the police. We not gonna lock you up, right? This parents, right? This is a family. Nah, you snitching. So there's certain things that go on in the street, and it's expected, it's tolerated, and it's been like that for a long time.
Right.
Now we're talking about street mentality invading Muslim marriages. So off the top of your head, all of you, not just Samira, but all of you, what are some things that is known in street culture that takes place in relationships? And when I say street mentality, like you said, a code, a code of conduct and all that stuff, obviously, there may be some things in the so-called code of the street that may be consistent with Islam. We're not talking about that stuff. Just like in any other law or system or whatever, some things may be consistent with Islam. Obviously, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the negative stuff, right? So, go ahead.
Tahira said, when a sister tries to lead the husband in a Muslim marriage and make him into a simp.
Before we comment on that, I need Sister Tahira to define simp. Because even a lot of men don't know what a simp is. Like some people think, like, say, if a man is dating, we Muslim, we ain't dating, right? But let's say, for example, a brother's having to sit down with his sister, right? They going out to eat. They going to meet each other with all the safeguards in place, third party and all that kind of stuff, right?
Mhm.
And the brother, is paying for the sister's meal. Some people say, "Oh, brother, why you simping, man? You should pay for our meal, right? This is 50-50, right?" That ain't simping, but some people that's simping. Or maybe I might be putting together simping and tricking together. But y'all get the point. Tara said, a pansy, a man who has demasculated, a man who cannot make a decision without his wife's position. I see that. In my mind, you know what a simp is? Y'all sisters can say anything. It could be crazy, make absolutely no sense. Let's just say, like in social media, one of you sisters will say something just retarded, off the wall. The simp is going to be like, "That's right, sister. I hear you, 100%. I'm with you." Even though what you said was crazy, but that simp, he gonna agree with everything you said, no matter how crazy it is. Somebody actually, I can't remember what it was then, but somebody actually made simp into an acronym and broke it down. Anyway, I think we all get the idea, right? So back to what she said. When the sister tries to lead the husband in a Muslim marriage and make him into a simp. Or like I saw a post one day, a post or a meme. Someone said, the way women cheat is on a whole nother level. Uh, uh, a woman will have her man and her side, and moving furniture together. What you laughing at?
A couple of things.
Go ahead.
Tahira say might as well have put her hijab on. SubhanAllah.
So y'all see that happening in the street?
Mm-hmm.
You agree with that, Samira?
Yes. Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh. Amina, thank you for joining us. I don't know if you gave us lambs.
No, I didn't. She just gave me.
Oh, okay. Alhamdulillah.
So now we see that happening in Islam. That's what you're saying? In Muslim marriages?
That the woman is leading. Leading how, Tahira? What do you mean by leading the Muslim marriage? Like, what is it that the sister is, actually doing to portray this arrangement? If you're my real people in the street, I'm holding you down. If it's as a marriage, I'm going all out for my spouse, mashallah. So yeah, like what is it that how is she leading him? Because sometimes, some men have the misconception that a woman cannot teach him. Like it's all got to come from him. I don't know where they get that from, because there has been women in history who have established masajids. Like Timbuktu was established by a woman. Like, like we've done things in the past, but that did not take us out of our lane or, impose, things like that. So what is it that you are in referencing to? Is it really simping if you're married? A man can still lead, cater to his woman, allow her to take control in certain aspects. I gotta let her define it. A lot of times a woman makes more money. Is that that's leading the husband. Honestly, I'm from the hood, but I've never been in the street. There is a difference. There are roles in any marriage that are particularly to a man. If my husband says no and has a valid reason, and I decide to go against his decision, and it was detrimental, I embarrassed him publicly, and did what I wanted to do and made him follow doing it in my detriment. Okay. Right. Yeah. Like, we living in a time, like everything is being convoluted. Like everything is just being thrown in one pot. And so these ideas are being spread that is very un-Islamic. As far as like being a wife, there are certain things as a wife you are expected to do, and it is to obey your husband. Allah and his messenger, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, impose that, enforce that. But we living in a time that I'm not listening to him. Like Miriam said, sometimes a woman makes more money. Some women have this misconception because she make more money, she get more say about things, what happens in the marriage. I don't know where she get that from. That's not Islam. That's she-Islam. You know how they say Islam? That's she-Islam. Money ain't got nothing to do with anything. Money does not make you the ruler just because. Like, and we're told these lies. And so when we come into these marriages, we treat the brother like crap because he's not making as much money as me. So he can't have any say. He that's not his role. He hasn't earned up to that because I make more. I don't know where they get that from. SubhanAllah. There is an encouragement in the society which allows for the roles to be reversed. Yeah, strong. Not encouragement. It's like blatant. It's blatant. Like, no. That's not natural. This is natural. You know what I saw on my news feed, and I don't know where it popped up. And don't say, Samir, you must have been looking at something for it to pop up. Man panties.
Ain't that what you say to me when something pop up?
That's it.
So I'm asking you in front of everybody. I know you wasn't looking for no man panties. I ain't wearing them.
They had man panties. And I'm like, what the heck? And it was Walmart, right? Oh, Walmart is advertising this. It wasn't like Fredericks of Hollywood or Victoria's Secret. It was Walmart. One of they vendors, right? I'm like, what else y'all gonna take? Y'all got the purse, right? Y'all got the rompers, right? Now y'all won't wear the panties. Y'all won't wear the tampons too? Yeah. It's getting ridiculous. So everything is just mixed up, and you got to figure out what's what. Like, okay, what's my role? It really stems down to we don't know what our roles are. We don't know what it is to be a woman. We hear what people say, what the role of a woman is or what the role of the man is, but is it actuality? Is that the actual definition of a woman? Was an ideal? Is that something, like we have these different ideals of what a role is for the man and what a role is for the woman. And if you listen to the feminists, the man is like, y'all wrong all the time, right? I could be wrong, but you wrong because when I'm wrong, you wrong. It's your fault that I'm wrong, right? The blame is thrown on you, right? It's just all over the place. No accountability whatsoever, right? I can't stand that. Can't stand it. There's something else I want to bring up, but go ahead. I don't want to digress. Go ahead, Habibi.
Oh man. And I was going to say something about what you was just saying.
Can I mention something yesterday?
Go ahead.
About yesterday, something we saw yesterday. Did y'all hear? Going back to, well, I don't want to mention that right now. I'll wait till it comes up. I don't want to just throw everything out. So what do sister say? You have more men dressing like women than women. Yes. And today I seen so many women looking like men that a man said to the woman, all right, G, all right, like referring to it like a male pronoun. I'm like, that's a woman. What is wrong with right? Like, what is got y'all out here acknowledge them like they part of y'all tribe, right? SubhanAllah. It was a lot today. And they have aggression issues too. They real angry. Fatima said that.
Man, I remember saying years ago, I think on the Half Your Dean show, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember because I remember when it happened. I remember I was walking in the hood, right? And I'm from New York, and I think it's safe to say that New Yorkers are a lot more aggressive than people from Pittsburgh, right? So we come from the era like, what you looking at? What, right? I think on the Boondocks it's called the nigger moment, right? We come from the town of nigger moments, right? you see somebody, they looking at a couple of extra seconds too long. What you looking at? What you looking? I'm looking at you. What? We got our problem? Yeah, what? And then it jumps off. No beef, no history, no nothing. Just look, right?
Yep.
And sometimes I have to cure myself of that because in Pittsburgh they stare a lot.
They do. You be driving, they be like this.
Or especially like they're driving, like say for example, you at a light, light's red. They come from the other direction. And they turn it. They turn the corner here extra slow.
Yeah.
And they be looking when they turn it.
Yep.
In my mind, I'm like, what you looking at, man? Turn, man. Right?
You wanna know if
they know? So every time that happens, still, as long as I've been here, in my mind, that happens, right? Because back in the day, that's beef, right? What you looking at? Look, everybody got to check your surroundings. All right, you checked it. Now look where you going. Don't keep looking at me, right? But here they, right? So one time several years ago, I remember I was walking in the hood, and this girl looked at me, and it was a young girl, and it wasn't the look like, hey, I'm interested, or even I think you ugly. It was the look like from back in the day, New York, like she'd do, like what? Like, yo, I know that energy, and that energy don't feel right coming from a woman. Right? It's so much that I remember it today, right now.
SubhanAllah.
Like, yo. Come a little closer, I'm about to knock you out, man.
Oh my, it's that. It's either that or they
hey, Mari from New York. That's what we used to say.
Yeah.
And they're looking down your throat, right?
Yep. I ain't heard that in a long time. Looking down my tonsils. Yeah. Ooh, my head hurt. Yeah, it's either that. I'm making fun of Pittsburgh. It's either that or they walk in the street where there's a sidewalk. That is so annoying as a.
Oh, yeah, it's understandable when there's no sidewalk. A lot of streets don't have sidewalk. But you have perfect sidewalk. No bushes or nothing growing on it.
And you
walking in the middle of the street.
And you look like you better not hit me. Like what?
And then even when you drive past them and move out the way to give them room to walk in the street, they're going that look.
I had that look together. You know what? People like to shoot people these days. I hope I'm not who they think they are. You know what I mean? Like mistaken identity. A lot of times people get caught out there, but they be thinking that person is the person that they looking for or whatever. I hope I'll come across that. But although I wear the caught up, that's another thing. We out there, sisters and people that's not Muslim be out here doing stuff and just lowering the bar. Like it's just like in the basement right now. But yeah, so Hobby, back to what you were getting at as far as what does that look like in marriages? Dot 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 dot.
Oh, one thing that I've seen, it's the way I wrote it down. I kind of like separated it, but you can kind of like always put it all together too. Like in the street, right? The way, and you can give me the woman side, right?
Wait a minute. Nadam say he feels safe walking in the
Oh,
street.
come on.
Now explain that to me, Nadam.
You feel safe walking in the street, right? But you wasn't going to touch some crocodiles with us in Gambia. Out of everybody rubbing the crocodiles, y'all see some of the pictures, right? Nadam from Pittsburgh, nah.
Oh, my stomach hurt for real.
But I'm going to walk in the street with my back turned to cars. And in Pittsburgh, in places like parking lots where you're supposed to drive slow, they drive fast. And it's sometimes in the streets when they're supposed to drive fast, they drive slow.
Look what I'm gonna say.
They don't never drive appropriately for where they at. They be behind you in the right lane in the highway, right? And then they move over to the left lane to pass you. And it's Pennsylvania, so there's only 2 lanes most of the time, right? They move over to the left lane to pass you, and they decide while they're doing that, you know what? I'm not going to pass them. I'm going to drive right next to them. I'm going to clog it up for everybody else, right?
And look at you while looking at. Look what Amina said. She said they all have the right of way in traffic and hold up traffic to be courteous to someone that doesn't have the right.
Yes. Like it got to be some communication at every intersection. Every place else, you was there first, you go first, right? Not in Pittsburgh. I have the right of way, but you know what? I'm going to sit there. And maybe the one who doesn't have the right of way, maybe they should go first, right?
I'm sorry. This is a big thing. Oh my goodness. Oh, my stomach hurts so bad. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but anyway, what was I saying?
You was about to say, I'm sorry, I was interrupting you.
With us non-native Pittsburghers, people who are not from Pittsburgh, that live in Pittsburgh, this stuff is traumatizing. We need counseling.
Yeah.
None of this stuff makes sense anyplace else. We're at an intersection. I'm turning, you're going straight. The light turns, or we have to stop sign at the same time, right? Instead of you going straight, you sit there, wait for me to go. I'm turning, man. You got the right of way.
I don't know how they passed the driver's test. They must have known somebody.
I don't know. Maybe they was all inhaling that coal dust. Because it was all these steel mills and all this stuff out here. They said back in the day it was so bad that if you wash your clothes, for example, right, and you hang it out on the line, your white T-shirt will be black before the middle of the day. That's how bad it was. They said.
SubhanAllah.
So maybe they breathed all that stuff in and it just passed on. Now I don't know.
Sorry for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, back to the topic.
Yeah, this stuff is traumatizing. I need therapy. Where's Eastside? He's always talking about therapy.
We get triggered. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, back to street mentality invading marriage. Okay, I think I can focus now.
Okay.
Yes. What I was going to say was that a lot of times in the street, you have, and it's not everybody, nothing's 100%, right? I shouldn't have to say that, but I guess nothing's 100%. Everybody ain't the same, right? But in the street, a lot of times, women are perceived by men. I'm trying to find a word to put it.
Put it together, then ask, is it true? Ask the brothers, is it true?
Like in the street, for example, right? You may have your main girlfriend, right? You follow me, Samir? Give me some feedback.
Yes, I know what
Follow
you.
me? This conversation, not a khutbah, right? Why you saying Why your energy changed like that?
Main, go ahead, your mainstay. Yep.
You have your main girlfriend, right?
Right, yep.
But you may be messing with some other girl. And right, different rules apply.
What kind of rules?
Stay away from my girlfriend, that's my girl. But I'm messing with these other girls, right?
Right.
And with a lot of dudes, different rules apply. I'm not even really talking about side piece rules. I'm just talking about this is even less than side piece. I'm trying to use words that's not vulgar. I don't know everybody who's watching.
So you got a trophy wife. You got a trophy.
I forget the wife or the main girlfriend or the
side the girl. Right? Yeah. Okay.
Side piece, right?
You got somebody on the side.
No, Michelle. I'm talking about we're trying to make a comparison, right? I'm trying to establish a point here. We're talking about non-Muslims, people that don't practice Islam in the street, and some of their practices getting into Muslim marriages, right? So now I'm trying to describe a situation and mentality in the street, right? See, as these other women or girls, whatever, and with those others, sometimes dudes be like, oh, you hit that? Oh yeah, I hit that too. Oh yeah, right. You follow? You follow me, Sabir?
Yeah, I follow you.
Well, a lot of dudes, that's all right. That's acceptable because that's not the wife. That's not the main girlfriend. That's not even the quote unquote official side piece. That's just somebody else.
Okay.
You follow me?
I'm following you.
Are y'all following me? I need some feedback. Brothers, would you agree that in the street, a lot of times, that's the mentality?
In the street.
In the street.
We talking about in the street. Is that the mentality? Islam. Not in Islam, in the street. Is that the mentality, brothers? Is that true? Now said yes. Okay.
Anthony said yes.
Let's get one more yes.
Let's get one more masculine yes.
Yeah, one more masculine yes. There we go. Okay.
Abdul Shakur said yes. Okay. Nobody says it's making it right. Sister Cisa said, but that doesn't make it right. It's obvious it's not right, right? We talk about girlfriends and all kind of stuff. None of that stuff is right, right? I'm trying to make a point.
Oh my
goodness. It's been crooked. I was gonna say something. I ain't gonna say nothing. It was bothering me too, but you know, we do have a mirror in here, right? You're gonna make it worse trying to do it in the camera because everything is backwards.
We're so funny.
So I'm saying to you all that amongst too many of us, that same mentality that many of you affirmed is present in the street. With too many of us, that same thing is been practiced and happening in Islam. For too many of us, that's happening in Islam. But for a lot of us, the only difference is there's a marriage ceremony. So technically speaking, it's halal. But the mentality and everything is still the same. So in certain areas, in certain groups of people, certain women are run through.
Mm.
But we fool ourselves into thinking that there's nothing wrong with this because that brother married that sister. It didn't work out. So then that brother married her. And then that didn't work out. So then that brother married her. And then it didn't work out for her. Then that brother married her.
I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
And then to make it worse, in a lot of these places, people don't know any deen at all. No deen, right? So on top of that going on, add to it that many times in many of these situations, the brother nor the sister knows what makes a marriage valid.
Mm-hmm.
So many times the marriage itself isn't even valid. Then if they don't know how a marriage is valid, they definitely don't know how to affect an Islamically valid divorce. How many times have I seen situations where, for example, a sister will come to me? This happened way more than once, right? A sister will come to me, or a brother and a sister. Hey, we want to get married. What we got to do, whatever. Then soon as I do what we call triage, you know how you go into a hospital and before they treat you, they don't just take your word for it. They get all your vitals, they get your history, they get all your information, they talk to you, right? They may draw blood, right? They're not just going to treat you just because you said what you got. You know, they're the professionals. They're going to look at everything. So when I do triage, right, how many times have I found out that the sister who's trying to marry this new brother is still Islamically married to her previous husband? Because she doesn't know the rules and laws of divorce. She thinks just because she kicked them out the house and they haven't spoken to each other that they're not married anymore. So you add all of these different factors in there. When you look at it, that's just some street stuff that we call in Islam. And a lot of us are fooled by it because we're using Arabic words, nikah, or we saying, oh, marriage, or we saying wali. We're using all of these Islamic ideas, but these Islamic ideas and concepts, we're not really fulfilling what these things were intended to fulfill. Women is choosing their own walis, or the future husband is picking a wali. That same thing like, yo, I'm about to date this chick, right? She got a homegirl. I need you to come with me so you get with her, get her from distracted, move out the way. It's almost same thing, right? I got this chick. I mean, this sister I'm about to meet, right? She ain't got no wali. I need you to be her wali, right? What's the dowry? Hold on. Let me look for the dowry. Hold on.
He's looking for the dowry. Wa alaikum salam to Sister Malika.
I found the dowry. I found it.
You found it?
Hold on. I found it. Got the dowry? Yeah, I got it. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Malika.
Subhanallah.
So what do you think about that? Just one example. I want you to give me some feedback on that, Samira, all of you as well. Then I want to go even further from there.
It's all.
Am I making that up? That's in my head. The similarity to the stuff in the street that's all in my head.
No, it's not all in your head. And what pisses me off what upsets me is that people got the nerve to slap Islam like this is Islam. Is this is my right. This is halal, right? They like to say that it's halal, right? And it's like that's your excuse to do it, and you're challenging people to say that it's not, because it's a nikah that's happening. There's so many. It's more than just the actual formalities. The intentions is what counts, right? Right? The intentions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The intentions. That's the first hadith in Arba'in of Imam An-Nawawi, right?
Yeah, first hadith in Sahih Bukhari. Let
Right?
me see if it's the first hadith in the Dowry. Let me see if the first hadith in the Dowry, the summarized version of Bukhari. Let me see if it's the first hadith there.
And the Malu Beniyat, right? Your intentions.
Yeah, it is the first hadith in the summarized.
In the Muqtasa.
That was Muqtasa Sahih Bukhari, right? Amit Muhsin Khan.
Your intentions is what counts, right?
Wa alaikum salam, Sharice.
You have what you intended, right? So you come into situations like that with a street mentality, right? That's what you're going to get, right? And then what's even worse, unbeknownst to usually the sister is getting done in. There's not really too many sisters that be doing the brothers in. It's the sisters that be getting done in. They be a new shahada, don't know anything. And she told this is how things are. But yet she feeling like a piece of, feeling like trash. And this is Islam? It's so many things that I can point out. And this has turned a lot of sisters away from the deen. Because these nikah things, the street stuff that happens. And this is nothing that Allah and his messenger sallallahu has legislated. Like, we playing games. Wa alaikum salam to be to Sister Sharice.
The scholars have said, when we recite Surah Al-Fatiha, right? The last ayat, where the last few ayats, we're asking Allah for guidance. And we specify, the guidance that we want, and we specify the guidance that we don't want. Not like those who have your ghadab, maghdubi alayhim, right? Not like those who experience your wrath, wala dhalin, and not like those who go astray. It is well known that maghdubi alayhim is referring to al-Yahud, the Jews, and wala dhalin is referring to the Christians. There was, and this is mentioned more than one time in the Quran, there was a group of Yahud Jews from Bani Israel who were tested with regards to the Sabbath. The Sabbath, which is synonymous with Saturday, it starts at Friday at Maghrib and ends on Saturday at Maghrib. And observing the Sabbath was actually legislated by Allah before the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And during the Sabbath, you're not supposed to like cook or work or anything like that. And so this particular community of Jews, they live by the sea. And so it was a fishing community. And if you went with us to Gambia, you've seen many fishing communities. When we went to the masjid, the Sand Dune Masjid, that's a fishing community there. But anyway, Allah tested those people by making the fish much easier to catch on the Sabbath. But they were prohibited from fishing on the Sabbath. That's a test. So what they did is they adhere to the letter, what we call in English, the letter of the law, while at the same time undermining the spirit of the law. That's English terminology. You want to follow the law, but in reality, you're breaking the law. But technically, you follow the law. So what they did, they put their hooks and their nets and stuff in the water on Friday before the Sabbath. And then waited till Saturday evening, meaning after Maghrib, after sunset, and collected the fish that their hooks and their nets caught. They're playing games like a lot stupid or something. Like
right.
Right. They're following the law, but they're breaking the law at the same time. And Allah describes those people in the Quran because he talks about them, and you can find this whole thing discussed in detail. It's a lot of times it's discussed in the context of enjoining the right and forbidding the wrong. Amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar, right? Because Allah transformed some of them into monkeys and some of them into pigs. The people, they were divided into three. There was one group of those Jews who didn't participate in that nonsense and warned against it. They were cool. And then you had one group that actually did it. They were transformed, I forgot, I think into monkeys. And there was another group that didn't warn them against it. They didn't do it themselves, but they didn't warn against it either. And that group was turned into pigs or monkeys. I forgot which one was which, right? They were turned into monkeys and pigs. They were literally transformed. Literally, not hypothetically. Literally transformed. And then that community died out. Like they didn't have no children as monkeys and pigs and stuff like that. That's important to say because a lot of times they watch Muslim speakers and they try to mix up what they say because they use this. Say I said this before, and they put those words on me and all that. Right. Because a lot of times, even if you look into Arabic, because of the Palestinian conflict, you have a lot of ignorant Arabs, and a lot of times they call the Jews sons of monkeys and pigs in Arabic, right? That's not supported by the Quran, right? They may be oppressors and all that stuff, but they're not literally sons of monkeys and pigs, right? The tafsir on those eyes clearly says that they died out, so there's no human walking around here who are the descendants of one of those people that's mentioned in the Quran that was turned into monkeys and pigs, right? But I'm just trying to be extra clear, all that because they're going to flip your words on you anyway. So as long as the people who are sincere, as long as they understand what I'm saying, that's all. That's all. Right? So I'm saying that Allah mentions this situation in the Quran for a reason. Not just to tell stories.
Right.
Because you have a type of people who follow the law with the intentions of breaking the law. They think they found a loophole. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam clearly said that you will follow those who came before you. Shibran bi shibran, wa dira'an bi dira'an. Step by step. Arm's length by arm's length, right? To such an extent that if one of them goes into the lizard's hole, you'll follow them into it. And they say, Ya Rasulullah, Al-Yahu and Nasara, are you talking about the Jews and the Christians? And he said, Faman, who else?
I'm talking about.
So this is significant that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that after telling us these different things that happen, right? Because that's also telling us that you're going to have some people from among my community, meaning the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's going to do the same thing. They're going to claim to be following the law with the intention of undermining the law. Listen, I'm following the law. We got married. It's halal. But I'm doing it in such a way that, it's really the same stuff on the street. I just got girlfriends and stuff. Marriage becomes cheap. It's not sacred anymore. Your children grow up in your household and the children around you looking at what you got, the thing that you call marriage, and they say, I don't want no parts of that stuff.
Nope.
They got more respect for the actual street than this bootleg street that you call in Islam. And right along with that, right? Right along with that, in the street,
Right.
you have a girl. You have a couple, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever, street, non-Muslim, right? You know what your girls like to do.
Y'all.
Yeah,
What that mean?
huh?
What you mean, y'all girls? Go ahead.
Oh. We in the street, me and you break up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who the next person you gonna mess with?
Your best friend.
Or my worst enemy? One of the two.
Right. Worst enemy or your best friend.
Best friend, worst enemy. And we was together, so you know all the secrets, right? So you know who the best friend and the worst enemy is.
SubhanAllah. Yep.
Do we see the same thing happen in Islam?
Do I need to answer that?
We talk about street mentality invading Muslim marriages, right? We see that happen in the street. We see that happen in the street. Do we see it happen in Islam? Be honest with me. I don't want to give y'all the answer. Y'all tell me.
SubhanAllah. Mm.
Hold on, let's back up. Maybe this is my imagination. When people in the street, right, and a couple break up, do girls do that? Do they go after or entice her ex-boyfriend, her ex-husband's best friend, or maybe even his blood brother or his worst enemy? Does that happen? Or am I just a figment of my imagination?
And you having an intimate, you have intimate knowledge of this, right? You know how you know the relationships and how deep they go and things like that. And then to no longer be together and you go straight to those individuals. Like what would make you be drawn to that? Like these are supposed to be your brothers in Islam. I'm talking about from a woman's perspective. These are your brothers in Islam. Like you should look at them like your brother, but as you stated, it's halal, right? It's fine, it's under the ban of the nikah, halal marriage, right? What's wrong with that?
That's right, because if you try to actually say something about it, it's halal, brother. It's halal, right, sister.
Yeah.
Right? You making mockery of the sunnah?
Right. It's the spirit, right? It's just certain things you just don't do. Like I couldn't do that. Inshallah, I'll never be put in that position. I could never do that. If I know that somebody is your enemy and then something happened between us and I go to them, that says a lot about me. And I'm
in the street. And then now, so I talked about the position of talking about in the street now. Somebody will get confused, right? Because sometimes people come in halfway in the conversation, they ain't pick up the context, right? So in the street, non-Muslim.
Right.
I spoke from the position of the man in the couple.
Right.
Now I just spoke to the position how a lot of times the woman in the couple act.
Right.
Now the other dude, right? The other dude who she went to go see, right?
Right.
In the streets, a lot of times a dude wants a girl, not because he wants her because you had her.
Yeah.
A lot of times a dude wants a girl only because his man got her or his enemy got her. I'll give you a couple of famous situations. Faith Evans.
You were
Biggie, Tupac. She was targeted and she went along with it.
Yeah, I'm about to drop these lines on his song, and he said he gonna pay me like what $3,000, $5,000 to do it and stuff. But yet they were at heads, right? They was at
I didn't know Death Row was beefing with Bad Boys like that. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ooh.
That's just a popular
Right.
example.
He's not going to respect her. I wasn't going to say that. Like, how you look? Like, how would I look? Like, you just a means to an end. Like, you just something just to get. Because sometimes people, they covet what you have just because you have it.
Cisa's right. Cisa said that Faith said it wasn't true. Yeah, she's sticking to that story.
Yeah, what? Now I heard Faith said a whole lot. Faith said this is an adult podcast. I wanted to put that out there. This is not for children. Hope nobody not allowing their children.
Oh, we do got children that listen. Calm down.
Not what I'm trying to. I wasn't going to. What? Why are you saying hold on? I'm saying
because you said this is not a children. This is an adult podcast, but we do have having children listening.
Okay, never mind.
Go ahead.
No, we got children. Never mind. Ho. No. I was just going to say that there were things that came out of her mouth. She said it. That she was promiscuous. Very. She said that. So for her to turn around and say, no, that's not true. Okay. But anyway. Fatima said, I've seen brothers and sisters plotting on others people's spouses. My stepfather told me and my sister when we were teens, don't bring your single sisters around your husband. Woo-wee.
And this is why, when many of us, at one time, it used to be better than it is now. Like we actually used to congregate in masjids, right? But that's why when a new sister come around, right? All of y'all sisters, y'all barely want to give us salams. Assalamu alaikum.
No, Assalamu alaikum. Who you here to marry?
that's if y'all got one among y'all who's straight up about it, right?
Ain't no walaikum salam. Who you
like,
here to marry?
They be like, no. Who you here?
No, that ain't the question. Sorry. Assalamu alaikum. Are you here to marry my husband? That's all I want to know. No? All right. Wa alaikum salam to like the cat. Welcome.
Y'all sisters. Y'all. See how y'all be running sisters away from the
it's not, the sisters, yes, you have to take some accountability. It's about how you see yourself. Because it's not just the brothers that be running through things. The sisters, too. They be plotting, too. They're sisters.
That's why I mentioned it like that.
Yeah, the sisters be wanting to sleep just like in A'udhu Billah. It happens and it shouldn't, and we do not condone it. This is just something that you need to watch out for. But there are sisters that be in that same situation. They have no haya. They have no honor. They don't have any kind of integrity. And all the while, especially if you are a married sister, and somebody had mentioned this. Who said this? Hold on. Going back in the comments. Ebony said this right here. That's why it's also not good to speak about your intimate issues to others as well. This is so true because you have that girlfriend, right? You married. She not. You know that, he did this, he did that. He don't know that. He don't know that. You telling all of these things, right? She's taking it in and trying to see like, okay, he's that with you. He's not going to be that with me because I'm going to come this route. It's like you giving her, you making her privy to how to get to him because evidently whatever you're doing is not working, right? And so all of a sudden now, y'all not together no more. And all of a sudden your ex-husband, your friend is together. You're like, how did that happen? It was your fault. You ain't close your mouth, right? sometimes there's things that need to be left unsaid. You don't need to tell somebody outside the situation. You need to tell that spouse. Whatever it is, the first person you go to is that spouse. I have this issue. We need to work it out. Not run to your girlfriend or run to your guy friend. He's like, man, you know, she don't be cooking my fries right. Right? It's too crunchy. She always do it crunchy. And in his mind, like, I like crunchy fries. What's wrong with crunchy fries? What's wrong? You know, like you don't know
like,
who you're talking to.
That's a problem I like to have.
Yeah, that's a problem I like to have. And it sounds like you're ungrateful, for the situation. So a lot of times, the way that happens is you allow that person in on different secrets that's not meant for you to hear. Certain things need to stay in-house. If you have real issues, Allah has already laid out how you should handle things. You try to work it out, y'all can't work it out, then you get someone to mediate the situation, right? Somebody from your family, somebody from her. Like, it's already laid out how to deal with these things. But a lot of times we just jump and talk to a person because we just want to vent. Sometimes you don't need to vent, especially if they're single and you have a husband that's, like, he looks right, he's doing right, he about something. They're like, shoot, I can help, I can wait. She tell me all this business. I know how to come in. And then he be like, wow, where you come from? This is, you the one I've been looking for all my life. And it's all because your ex-wife gave her all the tea about your situation, right? And not because it was match made in heaven, as they say. It just so happened that she leveraged that and got you, and the rest is history. You about to say something?
No, I was just in the middle of reading Fatima's comment. She said, I know a sister who married her ex-husband's friend. They stopped being friends, and the new husband stepped to his ex-friend and was like, Aki, she is my wife now, and if you have something to say it to me.
I couldn't be in that situation. I couldn't. We ain't saying it's wrong. It's just the principle. Like, I couldn't.
Give me another example of something that's negative, that's, common in so-called street culture that we see now being, done or invading Muslim marriages.
You have dudes that like to show off their girl, right? They don't keep it private. It's like he's always showing off. Like, you see how she look? Look, you see that? You see that? Yeah, that's me. That's me. Right?
Yeah, that's your girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, she bad, right? Yeah, she's bad. You got one, right? Yeah.
Right? That's some street stuff right there.
Well, I've seen that, right? Oh, you married sister such and such? Oh, she fine. She is, right? Yeah. Alhamdulillah. A Muslim man has what's called a righteous jealousy over any of the women in his family. Mother, sister, wife, especially. The opposite of that, the person's called dayuth. In English, they always use that word that I laugh every time you try to pronounce. Go ahead, say it one good time.
Cuckold.
A cuckold?
Yeah.
Like trophy wife.
Right.
Like, this is my wife, but I want all of y'all to see. I want all of y'all brothers to see. Look what I married. See? Y'all ain't doing it like I'm doing it. Look at her. Babe, turn around. See? See, look who I married. Yeah. Y'all brothers, y'all don't know how to do it. See?
Like, man, if that was my wife, Key, I need to find me a wife like that.
Yeah. Or, Assalamu alaikum, sister. Your husband's a lucky man.
Right. And if it doesn't work out, you know where to find me.
Yeah, that's right. You ever got any issues, you know where I'm at. All that stuff, you hear that stuff in the Jahiliyyah, the street, and all that, right? And now you see this stuff going on in the Muslim community. You know, hijab is not just a piece of cloth that a woman wears over certain parts of her body, right? Hijab is an institution, right? He just disregarded all that, right?
Mm-hmm. Just like dead presidents, right? What's his Cuddy? What's his name? Cuddy?
Yeah.
Cuddy, right? When Lorenz, I don't know what his name was in the movie. You know, when he was away at war, he was taking care of the family, holding it down, right?
Yeah. Hey, young blood.
Say that. Say how he said it.
I don't remember all of that. Hey, you buying the groceries. I used to love buying the groceries. Make you feel good.
That's the street, right?
Yeah.
That man knew that she had a man, but he made his business to be cozy up with her. Look at Islam. Letting the brother in the house, the husband ain't there, right? Right? Just having unnecessary conversations and stuff. You opening up a door that you're not going to be able to close. It opens up things. And it's like she got two husbands, or she has somebody intimate, someone to be, little friend. Like I hear a whole lot. That's my friend. They be opposite sex. Oh, that's just my friend. Aren't you attracted to the opposite sex? Right? They act like, nah. That's
when we was young growing up. When we was young growing up, our age group, Bismarck already put us up on. She said he's just a friend. We know about that friend stuff.
Listen, we human.
And you know that the funny thing about it is, when people talk about that friend stuff, usually talking about, the girl or the woman, the female, right? You got that dude that's content on being a friend.
Yep.
He has no type of ghira with him, right?
Right.
Whenever you get tired of your real man, I'm here.
Yep. How many heard that?
Oh, he ain't acting right? Here I is.
Mm-hmm. You put on Facebook, I'm in Ida. Pew! Ding, yeah. Right? Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Hold on, what's the inbox sound?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
I'm in inbox.
Ding, so you ain't even press enter yet. Look, you just press enter. It just said post now, right? Ding. Sabella. And it don't be about you, right? These people is not going after you because of you, because they think you smart and intelligent and someone that has, who's righteous and, and upright. It's not even about you. It's about that person that they do not like. And you in the middle thinking, I'm the cat, because they both, it ain't even about you.
Look what Fatima said. Put her comment up there. I left the community for years. That one.
I left the community for years and went back. I met the sister and she said to me, my husband said back in the day, they all wanted to marry you. I was like, sis, that was inappropriate for your husband to say that to you, but I'm going to mind my business. What the? Wait a minute. She said, my husband said back in the day, they all wanted to marry you. Oh, why would he say that? That's trifling.
That just reminded me of a story that I told you several times. So many things happened that day. But anyway, man, I feel like I just told this story last week.
You did just told the story. I know the story you're about to tell. You already told the story.
No, I ain't gonna tell.
What? How can somebody crack their lips to say that to their wife about somebody that they? What's wrong with people? What's wrong with food? So here said, my brothers said, you can't just be a friend with a dude because he always plotting to get in the panties by any means necessary. Yes.
I can agree with that. Even in the Jahili, I wasn't always Muslim. I don't have Muslim parents, right? But we had girls that was cool with us. It was nobody's girlfriend. Somebody was smashing them. She's one of the guys.
And we bringing that into the deen. And we wonder why we have the quality of marriage. You understand? Like the substance of marriage is like, it's none. It's like hollow. You know how you had the door knocker earrings? They weren't solid gold. That thing would be down on it, right? It'll be down to your ankles, right? They was hollow, right? That's how the marriage is. It be so hollow. And anything and everything can just make it not work anymore. Like it's just like it's not a thing to say, I divorce you. I just want to be done with it. Just want to be done with it because I got what I wanted. And when a dude wants you for your stuff and he get it, you done lost. That's it. It's just a matter of time for him to call it quits. He already got the cat. He already got you. He already got, he already reached his goal. He already accomplished what he, went after. And you would think, oh, he just, and then after that, he'd be like, pew, you be wondering why, pew. That's how I'll be like with dudes, and it could be, and unfortunately, I'm just talking about men that father children, right? And they don't want to have nothing to do with the child. Nothing. It's like, how could you not want to deal with your child? Like, that's your seed. Like, your seed, that's you. They have your blood in them running through their veins. This is part of you. This is your flesh. This is your, the DNA that ran through your whole lineage is in that child. And you're like, I don't have nothing to do with it. It was just it was just what it is.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I didn't have that in mind. But that's, again, another trait from the Jahiliyyah, the street mentality, that I've also seen being running rampant amongst Muslims.
SubhanAllah.
Wait a minute. You were married to this sister. You had children with this sister. And you don't want nothing to do with your child from that sister at all. SubhanAllah. Just regular human beings, but especially in Islam, your legacy, your lineage, that's precious. And to have another human being that emanated from you, and you that I don't care nothing about that. That's real awkward to me. On top of the fact that some other people want to be in their children's lives, but are being prevented from being in their children's lives.
Yeah.
And that situation, that's not new. That's not like it ain't just start happening a couple of decades ago. That stuff go way back to, past my grandparents' generation for a lot of weird reasons sometimes. They wouldn't let, for whatever reason, the father interact with his child.
SubhanAllah.
But the reason, because we running out of time. The reason why I wanted to address this topic and I wanted to discuss it slow like this, because a lot of us are blinded by Islamic terminologies or when something is done in the Muslim community. right? And so I wanted to have this discussion like this so that if you're single or otherwise looking to get married, right? And you see a situation, some people or the people who you're thinking about getting married with or married to or who's all in the circle, and it reminds you of that street stuff. Don't let Arabic terminologies and the fact that y'all wear kufis, thobes, and khimars fool you. Because, Islam and wali and wakil and nikah and walima and all these words are being used. Don't let that window dressing fool you for some street stuff.
Mm.
If you see all that stuff going on, in your mind, treat it like it's the streets. And we not in the streets no more. So we want to stay far away from that stuff.
Right.
And a lot of times, this is why a lot of us are single and can't get married.
Mm-hmm.
Because we either got experience marrying people in Islam, but their mentality was like still some street stuff. And so their marriage looked like some street stuff. Or they're trying to marry someone, and then them red flags that we supposed to be talking about tonight may have popped up, like, oh, no, I'm cool with that. And it's like, man, why I'm single? Why I can't get married? That's like a non-Muslim, for example, looking for, like, for example, a non-Muslim man trying to settle down and find a good wife, and he goes to the clubs, the bars, and the strip clubs. What do you expect to find there? You're not at the library. You're not in the place. The type of woman that you're looking for, you're not in those places where that type of woman hangs out. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
What is that you putting up there?
I'm gonna explain it.
Okay. So, like, a lot of times, non-Muslims, for example, they trying to get married, they trying to settle down, and they go to all the wrong places and find out and get frustrated that they can't find a wife. Well, you're not in the type of place where, you would find the type of woman that you're looking for.
That's true.
And so amongst us Muslim, yeah, we all Muslim. That don't mean just because we all Muslims, does that mean all of us are righteous? Does that no? So, but our actions indicate that we think that way. Well, he's Muslim. A whole lot of people is Muslim, right? So some very evil people was Muslim. That mean you gotta go marry him? So in a lot of our circles, you have people who they may have been Muslim, for decades. Still a street mentality. The way they get married, the way they are in their marriages, the way their marriages end. It's all some street stuff. And if we're trying to marry someone decent, we'll be foolish to marry someone like that. That's just husnul dhan. If we run that into the ground, right? Husnul dhan. Have a good opinion. Forget everything that you're seeing in front of your eyes in real time. No, have a good opinion. Right?
Oh,
yeah, she was like that with her last 10 husbands. She's not going to be like that with you, number 11.
What makes you special?
Yeah.
Not that it's impossible, but subhanallah. I wanted to mention something real quick. Are you finished?
Hey, go ahead. So I just wanted to mention the intent behind this conversation, because a lot of times we get rocked to sleep by Islam. A lot of us, we're not stupid, right? It's just that, all of us have our own levels of sincerity, and a lot of times we think other people are as sincere as we are, or have turned their backs on the negative practices that we left to become Muslim, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times we think other people have turned their backs on those practices to the same extent that we have. And that's not the case. Some of us are caught up into it and we don't realize how caught up into it. Because we not only we lying to each other, we're lying to ourselves.
Yeah.
It's halal. It ain't halal, right? We're lying to ourselves. Some of us really believe that stuff when we be saying it.
SubhanAllah.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I got a couple of things to mention. Mm-hmm. One that I wanted a point real quick. In the street, you have gold diggers, right? And in Islam, you do have sisters that marry brothers just to be taken care of or just to get that dowry and be out the marriage, right? Like that is part of the union, you know, the man taking care of the wife, you know, financially and things like that. That's a given. But we use it as a come up, you know, and get what we want and then be out. Or just be there just for the funds. And then when that runs out or I get tired, I'm out. I want to cool her. I want to get out of here. I just can't take it no more. And then she married to the next brother. Right? So that's street stuff you got to leave out. And brothers, you need to recognize that. Not all sisters is a gold digger. So you have to be able to discern what is, you know, legitimate and which one is a game, right? Because it is your responsibility as a husband to take care of your wife. That's a given. That's a God-given right. That's, you know, that's a divine instruction for you. So don't play that game like I'm not doing that. You're going to have to pay 50 because you ain't going to play me. You ain't going to get all my money. You're going to get half, but you ain't going to get all. No, don't play the games like that, right? But I did, the other thing I did want to mention is that if we want to have better marriages and be serious about it, we have to be the change that we want to see. You hear that term. You have to be the change you want to see, right? And we living in a time that marriage is on the decline. Like people don't want to get married. They'd rather be friends, right? They'd rather be on this single stroll. And that's all kinds of pitfalls in that. It's not safe. So I put up a link in the thing. Did you take my link away? I posted a link. It's a Google Forms. If you don't know about this platform, the Dope Muslim podcast is headed by my beloved sister, Sabria Mills. And she's having a segment. There's going to be several segments, but the topic is about singles. And so this Google form is confidential. It's not all eyes. It's only going to be her eyes. And she's asking a few questions about, do you want to be on it, to talk about why you're single and what's preventing you from getting married and such like that. And they're going to have cases where you have the opportunity to meet potential spouses. So I think this is a great opportunity for those that are seriously trying to get married to join this podcast. You don't have to come on if you don't want to, but if you want to tell your story and they're going to be talking about different topics about the singles and what they go through and the challenges and what's, you know, preventing people from getting married, and ones that had got married already, get burnt all type of times and why, and all. They're going to go all into all of that stuff, right? And so if you're looking to get married, fill that form out. If you want to be part of the podcast and be on there, you are welcome to do so. And this is a way to, you know, help promote marriages like this platform here, the Half Your Deen Show. We promote marriage, we promote family and community, Islamic community, because those things are dying, especially the Islamic community. And we know that the Islamic community, the masjid is the center. And we have been lied to and been tricked to think that the masjid is not the center. And because we think that the masjid is not the center, we don't support it. And so you have elders, as we have seen in Florida and other places, in their 70s. Can you imagine in your 70s running a masjid, making sure that everything is up to par, making sure the bills are paid, making sure this at 70 without the help of the youth. This is insane. And this is the Black community that I'm talking about. And I want to mention real quickly how ungrateful some Black people are. Some of us are some ungrateful somebodies. I wonder if y'all heard about, and I'm sure y'all did, about Deion Sanders. I'm not a football fan. I'm not into sports. I know that he played football and baseball. Y'all know Deion Sanders. Did y'all hear his story? And did y'all hear what is being said about him? Give me a hands up. But I'll mention this here. We talk about, alhamdulillah, Sharice. We talk about community building. We talk about building institutions. We talk about knowledge and all this stuff, right? And Imam Amin, on in the mornings, he's always impressing upon us the importance of knowledge and supporting, right? The Black Imams from Round Table on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. always impressing upon us to give. This is for you. This is for our future. This is for our children. We don't seem to get that message. We say we down, but we're not. And I'm going to prove to you why. One example. Deion Sanders was the coach of a football team at this HBCU. I forgot what the school name. Somebody put the school name in the
Jackson State,
right? It's a HBCU, right? Historically Black college and university, right? That's what the acronyms represent, right? You know he's a millionaire. He's rich, right? And he took out of his time, and I don't know how it started, and I don't know what, impressed on him to want to go to this college and coach these boys, these young men. He was there for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, right? Did y'all know that he announced that he was going to Colorado, and the fans and the parents and all that was booing him? Instead of saying, giving him a farewell and say, thank you for all you've done for our children and how much, you have, encouraged them and been a positive role model, they were booing him. What I found out was that this man, he was being paid, I think, $300,000, right? That was his salary. It wasn't even enough for him to do what he did. He had to come out his pocket. He gave back his salary so that the kids will have what they need, so they can go to the games and travel and such. He took out of his money to rebuild or add on bathrooms and new locker rooms and stuff so they can have the best up-to-date equipment out of his money.
and he would give his salary back because he said it wasn't about the money. See, a lot of people, from what I hear, like, again, I'm like you, I don't be following the sports, but listening to both sides of the argument, people say, nah, he came in there on the Black stuff and now he done sold out. But those people who criticize him for that, they leaving out all this stuff that you mentioned.
Exactly. And that's why we are some hard people to help. We can make it difficult. We need to stop that.
He had to cut the grass himself by himself sometimes.
Yes, they were poor. That the school was poor. That the school could not support the team. He
could not or would not.
Yeah, that's true. Right? They were not giving him the support. He had to get on whatever it is to cut the grass. Y'all know how big a football field is. He had to cut it himself. Him, the coach, a salaried person, had to do that. After having put his money into helping them have new bathrooms and up-to-date facilities as far as the locker rooms and all this other stuff, and making sure that they be able to be flown to the different places, so because the other teams weren't able to go to the games because they couldn't afford it. And then the monies that comes in, like where the money's going. Like they say they ain't have money for it. Where the money going? Right? This is your HBCU. This is the places that y'all be bragging about. I'm talking about all y'all ones that go to HBCUs. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about the one that claim that this is your, your alumni of such and such school. Do you support it? Do you give them money to make sure that the future students can be, service and taught and all this stuff to make sure that the institutions stay up? We as the Islamic community are trying to do the same thing, and as soon as y'all not able to do something or say something happened, oh, they was foul, they was just playing, they wasn't serious about no knowledge and all this stuff. And all this time that y'all had the Imams Round Table, the Black Imams Round Table, and you had Imam Amin, you had Imam Fahim, you had Imam Naim, at your disposal to help you get up to par, at least try to get that step. Because they're stepping in when other people that are more qualified is not stepping in. Y'all ready to throw apples and tomatoes and stuff. Oh, they were just playing. They ain't was serious or nothing, whatever. That's how I see it. And this is institutions that you brag about, and this is where you from, and that's where you learn from, and all this stuff. Are the alumni supporting it, making sure that they are still being maintained? Or is it the administration is taking the money and driving around in their Benzes and all that stuff just to say that they got these, positions at these schools or whatever? Like, what's going on here?
I just want to add that with those institutions of higher learning, right, the Ivy League ones, the schools everybody wants to go to, it's those endowments that keep them. It ain't the tuition,
right,
that's keeping them schools going. It's them rich donors who be donating, who are appreciative of the fact that they went there, alumni, right? And they give back in the forms of endowments. I don't know what the endowments of HBCUs look like, what have you, but from what I understand, it ain't too good. And this is indicative of how we get down. We don't support our own things.
We don't. And so here it is. He having to pay for everything, right? As far as his, his department, right? And who's there to support after the fact? He's going, right? Who's going to step in and do what he did? Who are they?
And by the way, from what I understand, again, I'm not a sports fan. I'm just knowing this stuff because it's popular. Everybody talking about it. But they say while he was a coach, they won every single game.
Yep, they lost 5. But they won the championship for something like the overall championship.
I heard that they was never that good, no time other in their history. Talking about ingratitude, right?
And gratitude.
Did all that stuff, and because everybody ain't built the same, right? Like, because like some black imams be like, you know what, I'm trying to do all this for the community. The community don't care. I'm out.
Right.
Like Imam Amin said, I'm going to work for Mr. Charlie's cousin.
Yep.
I'm going Mr. Charlie. They paying me over here. They appreciate me over here, right? I went to go study all of these years, and y'all don't even care, right?
Right.
Mr. Charlie's cousin appreciated. I'm going over there, right? So in my mind, that's maybe what Deion Sanders did. Some of us, we just stay here and take it, right? Everybody ain't built like that.
Nope. And he could stay. Like I'm curious to why he's going, knowing that they were in the situation that they were in, and knowing that he had to do all those things. Like, he knew coming in that they wasn't going to be able to pay him what he's worth. Think about it. This is a millionaire. This man is rich. He didn't even need to be there. But because he loved the sport, he played football and baseball. That he was a monster, right? And so he was able to, help these kids, to share his skills and teach them, the discipline on being, sportsmanship and all that stuff. These boys looked up to him, and these parents are going to sit here and boo him. A lot of them boys probably didn't even have their daddies in their life. They ain't had nobody stable, but he was there. And this is how you repay him. This is what we do. This is what we do. When are we going to change this? When are we going to change this mentality? That's why we don't have anything. Black people ain't got a hospital. We don't have colleges. Now, the HBCUs, you know, it's a question about how they establish and who maintaining that. We ain't maintaining it. I've heard about schools. I forgot Spelman or one of them. What's the other one? Hillman, whatever. The dorms is like disgusting. Rats, roaches, whatever. Like, this is your HBCU. Howard. Yeah, it was Howard. These are the good conditions. But
hey, you said Hillman. Wasn't that from like the Cosby Show?
Different world.
A different world.
Yes. Yes. Well, same thing, right? But this is something that you take pride, but are you part of the upkeep? Are you still contributing out of your wage? Are you giving back to those students? Say, hey, I was there where you were, when I was here, such and such years back. This is how you can get where you need to be. This is all that we're asking with the Black Imams Roundtable. And what Imam Amin, talks about in the mornings at the post-Fajr reflections, and what you speak about in your classes, during the week, and Imam Fahim when he give his classes and such. This is all we're saying. And this is an example why we don't have nothing. And then when somebody that don't look like us point that out, we get hot. How dare they say such and such and so and so? They telling the truth. They shouldn't be saying it, but we proving them right. So I'm just saying, take this as an example of what not to do. This man did more than what he had to do. He gave back his salary. How many of us will be able to do that? How many of us would be able to teach or whatever, any profession, and say, here, take back this salary so that the staff can be able to get paid, or so that the children can have the supplies that they need so they can learn or what have you? When are we going to get tired of being in this situation and predicament? But they booing him because he's leaving. And he have every right to. Now, did he sign a contract and said, hey, I'm going to be here forever? My tenure going to be however many years or whatever, and I promise to be here all that time or what have you? Or you depended on him to be the parent, be in place of you when you was not there? Ungrateful. And what does Allah says about ungratefulness? He said, when you are grateful for a thing, he will increase it. And the opposite is true. So if we're not grateful for these programs and these classes and the knowledge that's being conveyed, Allah's going to take it away. And you're going to have to answer for that. So we need to support our institutions. We need to plant the seed. A lot of the stuff that the imams talk about, we're not going to see it in our lifetime. And that's a problem that we have today. This is the TikTok generation. We want to see things right now, right now, right now, right now. You're planting a seed, just like in a garden, a community garden, or a garden in your window. You can have a garden, a little thing in the window. You plant a seed and you watch it grow. You make sure it's watered and it has the nutrition that it needs. And then you teach the next person, this is how you maintain it so that it can be here later down the line, and it keeps going and going and going. That's what we're supposed to do. That's how we're supposed to be. Even if you don't even know how to do it, just say, I'm open to help however I can. What can I do? But we stop ourselves from progressing because we don't see the vision. We don't see the purpose of it. We're just looking at now. Like those parents, I'm saying parents, they looking at their children attending their school now at those couple of years. That's all they looking at. They ain't worrying about the kids that come before them, and they ain't worrying about the kids that came after them. And all they worry about is right now, what's happening. They're not doing anything. For him to leave shouldn't have been an issue. They should have made it where If you ever want to come back, we'll welcome you with open arms, because we are proud and we are thankful and grateful for what you did for our children while you were here. SubhanAllah. Yep, broke into his car. Yep. Yes. What Abdul Shakir got up here. This is all the conditions. And y'all got the nerve to boo and be disrespectful because he announced that he's going somewhere. Like, he took it like a champ. That's a man right there. He could have said, F y'all, right? He could have said that. But no, he was bigger than that. We need to take a lesson. Another, just to the end, in conclusion, Bani Israel. Allah talks about Bani Musa alayhi salam and Bani Israel. Do you remember all the challenges that Musa alayhi salam and his brother Harun had to go through just to free Bani Israel from Pharaoh? Remember? All of that they had to go through, right? Finally, they got free, went through, the sea was split, got through that. That miracle happened. They see it. And them Negroes, like, Allah sent them food from the sky, manna and quail. And they're like, where the onions and fruit? I don't want that. I'm tired of that food. I'm tired of that.
Surely you don't expect us to be satisfied with just one type of food.
Right.
That's what they said.
I'm tired of that food.
Allah is literally raining food on you from out the sky.
Sending you food down.
Wait, just one type of food? That's all you got?
Ungrateful. This is why the stories that Allah says in his Quran is for a purpose, because we do not get it. I'm sorry I'm yelling. I'm just so passionate about that. That really burnt me up. Because at first I was like, how can he do? I ain't hear the whole story. Remember? I was like, right. And then when I looked into it further, I was like, hold up. He ain't do nothing wrong. That's his prerogative. Y'all need to be paying him. Y'all need to be thanking him. Y'all need to be kissing his feet. Right? So take lessons from these. Take lesson, because Allah is going to question us about it. Allah had opened up this knowledge due to COVID. For some people, look at it. Oh, people died. My family died. My friend died. Everybody died. You're going to die. You don't know how you're going to die, right? But Allah allowed us to have access to a piece of something that been held away from us. And here it is. We have an opportunity to help cultivate it. And we ain't even spending our money or time or anything towards it. Everything else is important. We supporting every other institution that don't care about us. And then we wonder why we ain't got nothing. SubhanAllah, take lesson. This is a contemporary situation. Real live in your face how black people do you that are ungrateful. And everybody's not like that. And not every black person is not like that. No, we not. But I'm just showing you, why would somebody want to help you if this is how you treat them? Ingratitude. The Prophet ﷺ said the people are not grateful to Allah. Oh, you can't thank Allah without thanking the people. Islam have all that we need to be a better person, a better society as a whole. It has all that we need. We just got to be open to it. And that's a lot of openness to us. So Allah has closed some of our hearts. Allah has closed some of us from that, cut us off. And we think we fooling people. Allah may have cut you off. And may Allah, may that not be our state. May that not be your state. May that not be my state. We not fooling ourselves regarding that we doing something. But I'm sorry, Habibi. I had to mention that because we are on a decline. Our community's on a decline, and it seems like nobody cares. They're like, oh, I'll just go to the immigrant masjid. The immigrant masjid, you go there. This hasn't happened. I hope it has not. The immigrant master gonna be like, call the cops on you. You can't come here and pray. I don't even know if you're Muslim or not. Call the cops on you. Some people impersonate that they are Muslim. They're not Muslim. They're on our property and they act like they're praying, but they're really not. I don't know who these people are. Do y'all want that to come to that? I can see that happening. Because you did not build that community. That's not your people. You should be able to go wherever you want. That's not beside the point.
Because we don't realize what you just said. It may sound far-fetched to a lot of people, but you got to understand, Mr. Charlie don't like too many of us to be congregated in one spot. They get threatened by that. That's why they created these loitering laws. This is why even in prisons now, on the books is the same laws that they had during Jim Crow. More than 5 people can't congregate together. So if you notice, just generally speaking, even though it may not be in said institution's policy or laws, people when you come into their space and it's okay, one of y'all is cool, 2 of y'all is cool, 3 of y'all, all right now, 4, oh, wait a minute, hold up, 5, all right, we need to change policy. We need to get y'all up out of here, right? And so a lot of times we don't think about stuff like that, especially again because a lot of times we think we Muslim, we all one Muslim brotherhood, like, all right, keep believing that.
Yeah.
So even though what you said may sound far-fetched, I can see that happening in the future. And we done sacrificed, we done paid all this money, and we migrated here, we did all of this, and we know about you. Why don't y'all stay over y'all mashing and support that? Why y'all over here?
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen situations, not exactly the way you said it, but I've seen situations similar to what you said.
Or close the mash it down, like don't have the prayers, like so much. It ain't outright, doing that, but they have their ways, and we don't want to have to be at their, at their mercy when we want to do stuff. We can have our own institution. We welcome anybody. You gonna respect us, right? But we don't have institutions like that. We have massages that's barely holding on. And the problem is that there is no successorship, right? He's going to be gone. Who's going to replace him? I'm talking about Deion Sanders. Who's going to replace him and do what he did? Do exactly what he did. Who's going to do that? Come in and do that? Not too many. Not too many. Who's going to come into our communities and keep it going and making sure Akasuna wa Jama'at is proclaimed, right? Who going to do that? Who going to sacrifice? So I just want to leave those thoughts with you, because when we're asking for money and we're, asking for your assistance, this is where it's going. And like I said, we're planting seeds. You're not going to see the full bloom. You may not see it in your lifetime, but at least you can say, okay, this started. I hope my children and grandchildren, the Muslims come together and keep it going. Inshallah. Okay, Habibi. I'm sorry. You ready to go? Well, anyway, I want to thank each and every one of you for participating, being part of this. And if you're just listening to the replay, we appreciate your comments. You can still comment on the video. We thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we hope that what we've said and what we brought out have been beneficial to you personally, and as a community as a whole, because this is what we try to do, is to inspire and empower, and for the sake of Allah. And we love you. You are our family. We say we love you. We love you. We love you. You are our family. Please don't take that lightly. A lot of people say that and they don't really mean it. We mean it. That's why we're here every Thursday. And inshallah, we'll see you next week, Thursday, inshallah, for another episode of Half Your Deen Show. And we apologize because the imam did say we supposed to talk about another topic, but we're going to talk about that next week. This Juma Mubarak to everyone. Don't forget to read Surah Al-Kahf. Don't forget to send abundant prayers upon the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and for the Muslims and those who have returned back to Allah. And, keep each other in your du'as, keep your children in your du'as, no matter how challenging they may be, keep them in your du'as. That is your weapon. And Allah hears those prayers. It doesn't go unanswered. We may not realize it, but it's being answered in the way that Allah sees fit. And so, and again, we thank you, and we hope to see you again next week on the Half Your Deen show. You have anything else to say, Habibi Boot?
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everyone. Thank you for joining us.